we're getting you proof that the strikes did actually happen.
29 का ऐसा प्रतिशत जो कह रहे हैं ये कोई 12 लाख हम लेकर जा सकते हैं.
The Superintendent of Police is supposed to know everything that goes wrong or right in his district.
This is what the Indian perspective. This is not Pakistani perspective.
मतलब जिहादी बीसीज जो है छुपा दिए हैं. ऐसा ही है. इसी वजह से तो कॉर्डन हुआ है और लोकल बता भी नहीं रहे.
I am happy that this conversation you have played on the video.
And now even more so after this tape, that it was indeed a surgical strike.
Good evening. Welcome to the CNN News 18 special edition of Big 5 at 10. You know what? Tomorrow, that's exactly 24 hours from now, it will be exactly 1 week since the surgical strikes which were undertaken by India in response to the Uri strikes, which were supported by Pakistan, would have taken place. Now, what have we seen over this last 1 week? Absolute rounds of denials and counter-denials by Pakistan. Pakistan's position constantly over the last 1 week has been there is no such strike which was taken place by India. Here, such was the impact of propaganda that had been unleashed by Pakistan that parties like the Congress Party, the Aam Aadmi Party, were beginning to look for opportunities to fish in troubled waters. One Congress MP even went to the extent of suggesting that maybe these strikes never happened, and they were asking Narendra Modi government to release some proof of the fact that these strikes really happened. Now, tonight, for the first time in this world, for the first time in Indian media, you are going to see proof about the questions which are being raised against the NDA government. Did those strikes happen or not? Yes, those strikes did happen. Yes, those strikes were unleashed by India. And you know what the proof is? The proof is coming from Pakistan itself. A Pakistani police officer, that big global explosive, that big special investigation coming up on CNN News 18. Let's tell you exactly what is it that we found out. The 5 key takeaways from our global exclusive done by our special investigations editor Manoj Gupta. CNN News 18 has spoken to Superintendent of Police, Mirpur, in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And we must tell you the circumstances which existed for us to take this extreme step. Many of you would be wondering how exactly did we manage to get through to the Mirpur Superintendent of Police. As we go along with the next 1 hour, we'll give you specific circumstances as well. Mirpur SP is actually confirming what Pakistan has been denying. He outrightly admits in that phone conversation, which will play out for you, is that surgical strikes did happen, Indian forces did attack on that territory which was occupied by Pakistan, and yes, indeed, terrorists were killed. Mirpur SP has told us 12 individuals were killed in surgical strikes, including 5 army men of the Pakistani forces, meaning 12 people killed, and out of those 12, 5 Pakistani soldiers were assassinated by Indian forces. Mirpur's SP is also using the word terror launch basis for Lashkar camps. So once again, the denial which has been put out by Pakistan that there is no such terrorist who exists on Pakistani soil is being outrightly negated by that big investigation. The Superintendent of Police is also confirming what India has been saying all along, that Pakistani army was indeed shielding jihadis. These are the 5 key points which we have managed to establish post that conversation which had taken place between Manoj Gupta, our investigations editor, and the Mirpur Superintendent of Police. So how exactly did we manage to get hold of this global exclusive? Just to satisfy those who are questioning how did we manage to get hold of this particular conversation, here's what had happened. Manoj Gupta had spoken to the Superintendent of Police Intelligence of the Mirpur range, Ghulam Akbar. Manoj posed as the Inspector General of the area. That's why the Superintendent of Police decided to open up with Manoj. The reason we did this was not to put anyone's life or job in danger, but such were the circumstances and such were the hostilities which existed on both sides of the border, the rounds of denials and counter-denials, propaganda reaching a peak, Pakistan deciding to take a global group of journalists to areas under its own territory to try and give this message that India had not conducted any strikes. What was revealed by SP Ghulam Akbar was such important information, so vital, that this was the only possible way that we could have managed to bring it out in public domain. Here's what was told to Manoj Gupta in specific clear-cut words by Ghulam Akbar, SP Intelligence of the Mirpur range of Pakistani police.
गुलाम अकबर
जी सर।
आईजी मुश्ताक शुक्रा बोल रहा हूँ
सर
क्या बढ़िया बढ़िया, तुम बताओ क्या हाल है?
सर अल्लाह का बड़ा करो।
और क्या चल रहा है? ये तो बड़ी गर्मी चल रही है यहाँ पे।
सर बॉर्डर में है थोड़ी सी,
हाँ,
लेकिन आज तो पूरा सुबह से लेकर इस वक्त तक तो खामोशी है सर बॉर्डर पर।
हाँ। मैं जो सर्जिकल कर रहे हैं,
जो सिचुएशन है वो तो 29 का है सर, सर्जिकल जो कह रहे हैं।
हाँ
जी सर।
तो उसमें
नहीं उसमें सर 3 ओनली
है?
तीन सर, 3 हमारे।
अच्छा, सिर्फ 3 है?
हाँ जी, वो जो लोकल बंदे हैं ना, वो भी उन्होंने जो डिस्क्लोज किया है ना,
हाँ,
वो उन्होंने जो देखे हैं 3,
हाँ,
वो उस वाले से उन्होंने कहा है सर।
नहीं तो वो तो बता रहे हैं कि वहाँ पर ये इंडिया वाले तो बोल रहे हैं कि जो है करीब 30-40।
हाँ, तो ज्यादा क्लेम कर रहे हैं सर। वो तो कह रहे हैं कि ये हमने हर जगह पर ये जो सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की है हमें बहुत कामयाबी हुई है, लेकिन ऐसा कोई ऐसी कामयाबी की बात नहीं है सर। वो सिर्फ क्लेम कर रहे हैं सर, ताकि वो क्रिएट हो थोड़ा सा फियर अमंग्स दी पब्लिक।
हाँ
जी सर।
अच्छा,
हाँ, ऐसा नहीं है सर। ये सारा उन्होंने तो उस दिन तो थ्रू आउट सर ये सारा बॉर्डर पर खोल दिया था ना सर।
हाँ
जी सर।
नहीं, 8 मकाम तक तो कोई नहीं गया वहाँ पर
सर। 8 मकाम से कोई ऐसी बात नहीं हुई, कोई रिपोर्टेड नहीं है, लेकिन ये जो है सर लीपा वहाँ से 2, फिर इसी तरह सर अजीरा वहाँ से भी 2।
हाँ
जी सर। तो इस तरह की सर
कितने तुम्हारे हिसाब से कितना लगता है, कितने लोग?
सर ओवरऑल जितनी वो इसका सर्जिकल हुआ है ना, ओवरऑल जिस तरह वो कह रहे हैं कि हमने सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की और ये हुआ है वो हुआ है,
हाँ।
तो उसमें टू बी ऑन सेफर साइड ना करे कोई गलत नहीं, ये कोई 12 तक हम लेकर जा सकते हैं। 12 तक। जी सर।
अच्छा, एक कैंप में?
लेकिन ये नहीं सर, ओवरऑल नॉट इन वन कैंप सर, क्योंकि इंफॉर्मेशन ऐसा सामने नहीं आ रही सर। एरिया भी कॉर्डन है हमारा जो है,
हाँ।
इधर के लिए भी तो उधर आगे भी सर।
नहीं तो ये जो हुआ है सारा का सारा जो सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक हुई है वो कौन कौन से कैंप में हुई है?
ये सर वो हुई है एक लीपा और एक इधर सर स्मानी।
लीपा और
स्मानी, जिस तरह वो क्लेम कर रहे हैं सर, जिस तरह वो क्लेम
आसमानी
कि हमने ये स्मानी भिम्बर में।
संबानी, हाँ,
स्मानी भिम्बर में।
अच्छा।
जी सर।
तो आर्मी पोस्ट में जो है इन्होंने 12 मार दिए 2 पोस्ट में।
ये सर मुख्तलिफ, ये टोटल सर अजीरा भी शामिल कर रहा हूँ।
अजीरा में भी?
जी सर, ये टोटल में जितनी उस दिन की 29 की करवाई है, ये टोटल फिगर उस तरह आए हैं सामने सर।
और इनके कफन दफन कहाँ हुए?
ये सर वो अपने वो गाँव में देखते हैं, ये कॉफिन बॉक्स से इवेल्युएट कर रहे हैं हम, जिस तरह बंधु ने जो देखे हैं सर।
अच्छा, 12 कॉफिन बॉक्स में हैं?
जी सर, मुख्तलिफ जगहों से सर, ये मुख्तलिफ जगहों से इंफॉर्मेशन है कि एक जगह 2 जा रहे हैं, एक जगह 3 जा रहे हैं सर।
What does Pakistan say now? What do the naysayers say now? How is it that any person in this country, any person who knew what had taken place a couple of weeks back in Uri and what had taken place last week, exactly last week when the Indian forces had crossed the borders, how is it that people could think in terms of refuting very, very clear-cut evidence which existed? Now, while, of course, we are going to question our own domestic political parties, the Pakistani Prime Minister also seems to be creating a huge smoke screen. What did Nawaz Sharif do all this while? Nawaz Sharif had told his parliament that there were 2 Pakistani soldiers who were killed in ceasefire violations on the 29th and that India had fabricated the entire surgical strike story. Now, that lie, and I'm very, very humbly and responsibly using that word lie, is being exposed in part 2 of that investigation which was done by Manoj Gupta. Take a look at this now.
इनके सबके नाम वाम भी हैं इसमें?
नहीं सर, नाम तो मुश्किल है, कुछ एक दो हैं जिनके नाम हैं सर।
ये 29 वाली की है ना?
जिनके नाम जी सर, 29 वाले सर। जी, वो जिसका वो क्लेम कर रहे हैं कि हमने सर्जिकल किया, ये किया।
तुम्हारा लैंडलाइन क्या है?
जी 05822 कोड है सर, मुजफ्फराबाद का।
हाँ,
तो 92।
अब वैसे आवाज ठीक है
सर ये नंबर नोट हो गया सर?
हाँ, नंबर नोट हो गया। मैं कह रहा हूँ अभी पढ़ते हैं जरा।
ये सर वो ला रहा है, पूरी फाइल है सर, उसमें वो देख रहा है कि 29 को जो डिटेल है वो किस किस्म की है, विद नेम।
अभी फाइल अभी?
जी सर।
हाँ बताओ
सर, दिम्बर जिला है, बंडाला सेक्टर समानी में। यहाँ सर वो एक नाइक जी हवलदार ये और जो जख्मी है सर,
ये दो
तो शहीद लाइंस नाइक स्पाइस, ये 3 जो है ये जख्मी हैं, तो 2 वो शहीद हैं।
ठीक है।
तो इनमें से बाद में इलम ये हुआ कि एक और भी शहीद हो गया है, 3 शहीद हो गए।
क्या नाम, कौन शहीद हुआ है?
उसका नाम वेरीफाई नहीं हो रहा सर, तीसरा कौन शहीद हुआ है। इसमें हवलदार और एक मस्जिद शहीद हुई है उधर, ये सर उधर ही है, उस पोस्ट के करीब है।
हाँ ठीक है,
लीपा में। जी सर।
ये सब वो जो तारीख का बता रहे हो ना?
29 का सर, 29
सर्जिकल कह रहे हैं ये लोग।
जी, वो जो सर्जिकल कह रहे हैं।
अच्छा ठीक है।
So in these two conversations that you have heard so far, what is being established very, very clearly is that yes, indeed, there was a surgical strike that had taken place. Yes, indeed, casualties had been inflicted on the Pakistani side. Yes, indeed, Pakistani soldiers had died. Now comes the $1 million question. What is it that Pakistani forces, Pakistani Prime Minister and successive Pakistani regimes have been saying on various global platforms? Pakistan ka to आतंकवाद से कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है. Pakistan has nothing to do with terrorism. Now, part 3 of that investigation, which we are now going to play out before you, that phone conversation which we are now going to play out for you, will give you a very, very clear idea of what is the exact modus operandi which has been worked out by the Pakistani establishment. And let me remind you, what you're hearing is what has been told to Manoj Gupta by a serving officer of the Pakistani Intelligence Bureau, and none less than a superintendent of police. Look at this now.
ये बताओ कि उस दिन जो था कितनी देर चली थी ये स्ट्राइक, सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक?
ये सर वो तो इन बिटवीन ये रात को चली है ना सर, कोई उसकी ये कोई रफली कह सकते हैं 2 या 3 घंटे, मसलन बिटवीन 2 and 4 और 2 to 5 रात को।
उनके कितने लोग थे?
उनके सर को कंफर्म नहीं है सर।
उन्होंने एक साथ उन्होंने एक साथ हमारी पोस्ट पर हमला किया है।
ये सर मुख्तलिफ जगहों पर सर, भैया का वक्त तो एक जगह नहीं हुआ ना, ये मुख्तलिफ जगहों पर है सर पोस्टें। जी सर, मुख्तलिफ अजला में है, मुख्तलिफ जगहों पर हैं, तो बस ये जहाँ जहाँ वो करते रहे वहाँ आगे से वो रजिस्ट होते रहे सर।
नहीं तो तुम्हारे हिसाब से इसमें 12 से टोटल 5 से ज्यादा मरे हैं? जैसे पहले तो बता रहे थे 12 कॉफिन गए थे।
ये सर मुख्तलिफ जगहों से, नॉट एट वन पोस्ट सर।
और जो लोकल रिपोर्ट आ रही है इंटेलिजेंस की, वो क्या बता रहे हैं, कहाँ लेके गए इनको?
बस वो यही बता रहे हैं कि ये गए और उसके बाद इनको एम्बुलेंस में रखकर कहीं आगे पहुंचा दिया गया, आगे उनके घरों को, या जो भी है।
तो इसमें ये भी है कि मतलब कुछ और भी लोग मरे हैं, लोकल मरे हैं, या कोई ये जो
लश्कर? लोकल की कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं, लोकल की सर इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, लेकिन देयर कुड बी ए प्रोबेबिलिटी सर कि जो वो जिहादी जो अस्करी हैं उनमें शायद वो। जी सर।
तो जिहादी अस्करी कितने मरे होंगे?
ये सर कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं आ रही किसी तरफ से सर।
लेकिन मेरे लगता है कुछ आर्मी ने जिहादी अस्करियों को छुपाया है।
ये सब वो तो होता है, लेकिन ये बिल्कुल ही कोई पता नहीं चल रहा।
नहीं मतलब थोड़ा बहुत लग रहा है कि उन्होंने कुछ मतलब जिहादी 20-30 जो है छुपा दिए हैं।
जी सर, ऐसा ही है, ऐसा लगता है सर, ऐसा ही है। इसी वजह से तो कॉर्डन हुआ है और लोकल्स बता भी नहीं रहे ना।
तो तुम्हारे हिसाब से कितने जिहादी अक्सर ही इन्होंने दबाए होंगे?
ये सर मुश्किल लगता है टू से,
फिर भी मोटा मोटी
लगता है ये सर रफली हो सकता है कोई क्रॉसिंग के वाले से मुख्तलिफ जगहों से कोई 5-5, 6-6 यही हो सकता है सर।
हर कैंप में 5-5, 6-6
वो इतना ही क्रॉस करते हैं सर। लॉन्चिंग के लिए सारे भैया वक्त तो नहीं जाते ना सर।
हाँ
5, 4, 3 वो इससे कम जाते हैं सर।
तो ये मतलब 4 जगह पे अगर उन्होंने हमला किया है
जी सर,
तो अगर हर कैंप में लॉन्चिंग में 5-5 बैठे हुए हैं
जी सर,
तो 20 के आसपास मार दिए।
ये सर ये तो है, लेकिन इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू से एनीथिंग। लेकिन मुमकिन है कि जहाँ जहाँ थे ये उनके लॉन्चिंग वेज थे।
किसके लॉन्चिंग वे थे?
ये हमारे जो हैं अस्करी वगैरह।
कौन से लश्कर के?
लॉन्चिंग जी सर, हमारे जो भी इस अस्करी हैं।
कौन लेके आता है इनको?
ये सर ये आर्मी वाले ही है सर।
अच्छा, आर्मी लेकर के आती है।
ये वही लोग हैं सर, ये उनके खाते में ही है।
चलो ठीक है। तुम कौन हो?
सारा इनका अपना सेटअप।
अच्छा
जी सर, मैं स्पेशल ब्रांच।
क्या नाम?
गुलाम अकबर सर।
क्या हो यहाँ पे?
जी मैं एसपी हूँ सर, एसपी स्पेशल ब्रांच।
ओके, थैंक यू गुलाम।
So, what exactly has been revealed by the investigation? 5 clear-cut elements coming through those 3 conversations which we played for you, which really are making Pakistan run out of excuses today. Let's just tell you exactly those 5 key points on this program which have been made in that conversation by the Mirpur Superintendent of Police. Firstly, indeed there is proof that surgical strikes did happen. The truth has been revealed. Pakistan has been lying all along. That's proof number 1. Surgical strikes did happen on the 29th of September 2016. What's the second proof? 12 people killed in Mirpur range. That's exactly what has been stated by the Mirpur Superintendent of Police. In that second part of the conversation, he makes it very, very clear that there were 12 people who were killed in the action which had been unleashed by the Indian forces. The third proof, and again something which has been outrightly denied so far by Nawaz Sharif on exactly how many Pakistani soldiers had died. Nawaz Sharif said 2 had died. He says 5 uniformed army personnel, 5 uniformed Pakistani army people were killed by the Indian forces in that action. And what's the fourth proof through that investigation? Lashkar launch pads do exist in Mirpur. So all these rounds of denials and these stories, this web of lies which has been created by the Pakistani authorities for so many years is today being refuted by someone who belongs to their own security forces. Lashkar launch pads indeed targeted. And what's the next proof? Post 29th surgical strike which had been unleashed by the Indian forces, this entire area where these surgical strikes had happened has been cordoned off, and only the Pakistani army is allowed to go there. These 5 points and those 3 conversations which you heard lead us to my big question on this special show tonight. Pakistan's lies, Pakistan's web of deceit, has that been conclusively, absolutely 220% conclusively exposed tonight on CNN News 18? And to answer that question and to figure out exactly what could be the excuse which could now be given by Pakistan, and to help us understand what should be done by the Indian side henceforth, here with us in our studios, Subramaniam Swamy. Always a great pleasure to have him with us here with our studios. Jaiveer Shergill is representing the Congress party, and certainly the Congress has a lot of defending and answering to do. Rajinder Kumar, former Special Director of the Intelligence Bureau, joining us live as well. Retired Brigadier Jaiveer Hussein, former Pakistani Army Special Forces officer. He's joining us live from Karachi. Salim Samad is Special Correspondent of the Asian Age. He's joining us on Skype from Dhaka. Michael Kugelman, Senior Program Associate for South and Southeast Asia at the Woodrow Wilson Center, is joining us on Skype from Washington. Welcome to all of you on the program. Let me just first begin with you, Brigadier Hussain, and let me ask you to respond to what we have played out today. Is there still any doubt that not only has Pakistan been supporting terror activities against India, but Pakistani forces suffered, Pakistani-based and Pakistani-sponsored terrorists were killed by the Indian forces on the 29th of September?
I don't know whether are you aware of the fact that Engineer Rashid is a member of the Indian Occupied Kashmir Assembly. He has spoken and he says that for the last 3 days in Lipa sector, the Indian army is busy making fake videos. And he says that if subsequently any videos are shown, they would be fake.
So,
now as far as this SP,
Ghulam Akbar,
of special branch or whatever, Ghulam Akbar or what.
Yes.
Did you notice that during his conversation with the Inspector General, the man said that these were launch pads of the jihadis?
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
Launch pad.
Yeah.
Now this launch pad is it's being used by the Indian Army. When the DGMO announced that surgical strikes have been carried out against the launch pads, he didn't specify the places where the strikes were conducted, 2, 3, 4 or 5 places.
Yes, because he was being sensitive.
Now,
because he was being sensitive.
No, there's no sensitivity in it.
Of course there is.
No. You see, now you say that Pakistan is lying. I can say the same thing about India.
So you're still unwilling to buy?
No.
I want to know, sir.
Get into that.
No, sir, but you're getting exactly into that.
I want to get into that.
You've given me a whole preamble.
Why this thing is...
You've given me a whole preamble, sir, to why you believe this has not happened. Are you, Brigadier Hussain, let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
You're saying even these conversations are wrong. This has never happened according to you.
You see, let me forget about the conversation. Don't lend any credence to it. Now the fact is, if you see, as a former special forces officer,
yes,
I know what surgical strikes are.
So
all commando attacks,
so
they are surgical strikes.
Yes.
You know, so I know what this whole thing is about.
Are you now denying it?
Hold on. Just
sir, because you know,
just listen to me,
you give me a whole preamble, sir.
Please
you give me a whole story, but you're unwilling to answer my basic question. You are basically saying that you still don't want to accept it, which is fine. That may be your call. I just want to know that.
And I want to tell you why.
Tell me.
I don't accept this story.
Why?
I don't accept it at all.
Why?
It's all doctored.
All
totally
doctored. All doctored.
So now let me tell you why.
No, hold on. Why, before I come to the why, Brigadier Hussain, let's have a democratic, civilized debate here. You have started this. You flagged it off, Dr. Swami. He is clear. Even this is not good enough evidence. Now, over these last 2 weeks, we have seen repeatedly various Pakistani panelists have come and they say nothing is good enough. So what is then good enough? Hold on. What is then good enough then? Should, on the basis of what CNN News 18 has shown, Dr. Swami, should the Indian government also now go ahead and release video footage? Who knows? Brigadier Hussain may not even accept that. Maybe he will not accept that as well.
Well,
release it.
Pakistanis have a consistent record of denying. Right from 1947, they denied that they didn't enter Kashmir. Then 65, they claimed they had won when they had Lord Haji Pir, which they asked for to return it in Tashkent. Then in 71, they said 100,000 troops were never taken prisoners. Kargil, they said that they never lost the war, we won it. Where they actually
so is Brigadier Hussain lying, basically? Let's be clear.
It's not him only.
It's his own establishment.
It is Pakistani. Now, second, the Russians have formally congratulated us through the ambassador, Mr. Kadakin, for this strike, saying that this is the way to teach the terrorists a lesson.
Right.
Now, they have, like the Americans and the Chinese, satellite photo of our entire operation. Which is very easy to do because now satellite technology is such. These Pakistanis have a military exercise with the Russians. They have now developed good relations. They can always ask the Russians, please supply us the evidence of this. How did you congratulate India? And in according to my information, they did ask the Russians, and the Russians have told them that we have satellite information.
Brigadier Hussain, I'm therefore once again asking you before I go to the other panelists. What will it take for Pakistan to accept the fact that indeed Pakistan may well have lost out as far as the 29th of September surgical strikes are concerned, Pakistan may well have lost out to India. What is it that Pakistan would take to accept it?
Your mentor, the United States of America, technologically the most
You have a
advanced
military treaty with them.
fighting force in the world. They have said their satellites have picked up no movement in the target area.
I like how you say my
Quote it.
mentor
Is
when
it
the
possible?
truth is that the Pakistanis.
No, ask
it
him to
possible?
quote the source for that.
Yeah.
This is a
Okay.
total lie.
Who do you know?
So-
This is a lie. Dr. Swami, who also knows a thing or two about American forces, is accusing you directly of lying again on
Yes,
the program.
quote the source.
This is the statement given by the Americans, government
Who
spokesman,
American?
State
Just
Department
yesterday,
and White House.
Washington Post
see?
has said
Now
now
let me-
they
let
have op-ed
me,
articles saying India has performed a brilliant move in the surgical strike, but what next?
What
this
next?
is what the
So,
Washington Post
don't-
says.
don't-
Please quote the authority. Don't give these generalities.
Authority, I will-
That's bluffing.
I will quote you the authority.
Please. Which
is?
I will quote you the authority. If you just care to listen to
Yes,
me.
yes,
We
yes.
are
Don't
listening.
interrupt, please.
Tell me, sir.
I have not interrupted you.
Tell me, sir.
You see, okay, good, thank you. You see, this is, you may try diplomatically, you say Pakistan has been isolated and so on and so forth. But this is strictly a military problem.
Sir, I'm not on that
source.
point.
A
Sir,
military-
I'm not on that point now. Now you're
He has
shifting
no
the
source.
goalposts now. The specific question is that
Can I-
you said that you have
Can I-
something on record. Now you're telling me the history of the problem. I know what the history of the problem is. So
No,
let's
I'm
not
telling
get
you
into
the
that.
history.
Let's not get into that. Jaiveer
Just-
Shergill. Hold on. Let me just go to
you
Jaiveer
see-
Shergill for a moment. I just want to,
you can-
right at the beginning, I want to understand all these naysayers. So
Now,
Pakistan
why is it
was
that every time you get a Pakistani,
yes, Pakistan
cut
is,
him off?
No, nobody's cutting you off. But sir, you've been giving
You
me
cut him off.
You've been
You
giving
cut
me a
me off.
preamble. You've been giving me a preamble repeatedly. But I
have
want to
given
move
the
on.
preamble or whatever.
Let me then move
Well,
on.
that preamble is given to you by an Indian panelist. You accept it.
Your preamble is being
What I'm
challenged,
trying
and
to
now
say-
you want to move
Yeah,
from one
name
point
the
to the
source.
next.
He cannot name the
Challenge me.
source.
You're
There is
moving
no
from
such
one point
You
to the
say
next.
that.
But let me.
You say that
Can
you
I
have
have a
heard
civilized
this from the horse's mouth.
Can I have a?
I am the horse.
I'm
You
quoting
listen to me
the
from the
Russian
horse's
ambassador.
mouth.
Can they quote somebody like that?
Now, Brigadier said this
not the
debate.
horse.
This debate will not get us anywhere.
no.
But Jaiveer Shergill,
I am the horse.
you may be the
Listen-
horse according
listen
to
to
you.
it from the horse's
Pakistan
mouth.
may believe that it's the ultimate horse, and Pakistan may believe that whatever is being stated by Pakistan is 100%
You don't
true.
know.
Your
You
premise
have
is constantly
you have
challenged.
no military knowledge. You have no military
your
experience.
premise.
Now listen to me.
I may or may not have any knowledge, and you may have all the military knowledge.
Any professional.
Hold on, Brigadier Hussain. Brigadier Hussain. Again, I'm repeating. Now I'll have to cut your mic off,
Crossing
sir.
front lines.
Jaiveer Shergill.
Large force crossing
Jaiveer
front
Shergill,
lines.
we've just seen
twice.
how Pakistan
On the way
continues
out,
to remain
on the-
in denial. Now, Jaiveer Shergill, your own former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, went public with his demand, asking for proof. Sanjay Nirupam went public saying fake. No surgical strike has taken place. Is an apology in order today from the Congress party, Jaiveer?
And what is the official policy of Congress now? What's the official stand?
I think Bhupenji, I want to make two things clear. Number one, a Pakistani panelist is sitting on your show. For him, we are all Indians, not Congress and BJP.
Right.
We speak in one voice, and let me be very candid. Congress stands with our government, is proud of the actions taken by our Prime Minister, by our Indian Army. That brings me to second point. Why are we surprised? It is in Pakistan's DNA to be in denial. And their addiction and affiliation to terrorism is well known. Why are they in denial is the moot question.
Wasn't Ashok Gehlot
Because
taking the same position?
Pakistan is busy doing a face-saving exercising,
Wasn't Ashok
giving
Gehlot taking the
reassurances to
same
the terror
position?
groups.
Wasn't Ashok
Giving
Gehlot taking the
reassurances
same
to the
position?
terror groups
Weren't
of their
you doing
support.
that? Weren't you also doing
Now-
that? Weren't
now-
you also playing with national
Now let
security?
me
When your former Chief Minister decided to question what had happened on the 29th
Now
of September, were you not supporting the jihadis? Were you not supporting the terrorists, sir?
Now let me clarify that nobody from this nation or especially from Pakistan should be under any illusion. Congress party and every citizen of this nation is rather proud of the surgical strike. We do not demand any proof,
Wow.
and neither we need any acknowledgement of surgical strike, especially from
use
Pakistan.
the word sorry.
That is true.
So I tell you
And
what, JV,
any-
why, you're a young person. You're a young spokesperson.
1 second.
Why don't you
One
say
second.
sorry first and then say I withdraw my demand? Simple. Say you goofed up. SORRY. Simple word. Say sorry. Let's hear a
Bhupenji,
sorry from you today.
Bhupenji, I am not spokesperson of Mr. Gehlot or Mr. Nirupam or anybody. I am a spokesperson of Congress party. And as a proud spokesperson says, Congress stand has been consistent.
How?
That we salute the surgical strike. And we ourselves have done 3
Are you
surgical
willing
strikes.
to apologize to this country?
A
Should you
video
not
demand
apologize?
release. We never even did a press conference.
Jaiveer Shergill, I'm sorry. You know, today I think you've really given the game away. By saying that we are not demanding any proof, you are basically washing your hands completely away from what Sanjay Nirupam said. And what Ashok Gehlot said. What do you mean absolutely not? Ashok Gehlot is on record.
No. Bhupenji,
Please reprimand them.
Individuals of statements of certain individuals do not reflect the official stand of the party. Those statements are irresponsible statements. They should clarify themselves. Congress party does not approve of it. And any such statement is not in national interest. And I'm saying in a very candid manner.
At least
and
you're using the word irresponsible.
And if this is the case,
yes.
I can enumerate many instances of BJP leaders. But since the Pakistani panelists sitting on his show, I'll restrict myself because neither I want to put my government in a bad light in front of a Pakistani
I think
panelist.
Mr. Shergill, what has happened is that Prime Minister Modi clearly has tried to rewrite the rules of engagement with Pakistan, and therefore whatever may have happened in the past may well have happened. I'm not denying that. Of course, the BJP is equally guilty of playing politics in the past, but I'm saying the Congress, which is in opposition today, isn't the Congress doing the same. I'm glad at least you're using the word irresponsible. You're saying irresponsible statements.
Congress has exhibited much more political maturity than any other political party in this nation in similar situation.
The word which the Congress spokesperson should repeatedly be using now the next 24 hours is sorry. And I believe saying sorry and apologizing to the country is not going to hurt your interest. But
why?
Why? Because look at what you've done.
Congress's official stand is we support the government and the army.
You
if certain individuals have made a certain statement that do not reflect the official stand of the party. I will believe what my president says, what my vice president says, and they have given unequivocal support to the government and the army.
Therefore I
am not
say
apologetic
the
about
word
it.
to use is SORRY. Sorry, simple word which you're unwilling to use. Irresponsible is your word.
I am sorry, we will not use that word. Congress has exhibited maturity and we supported the government and I will stick to that stand.
It was a fake strike.
Gentlemen, let me take a break in this stage. When we come on the other side of the break, Michael Kugelman, our friend from Dhaka, and Mr. Rajinder Kumar, all the 3 of them waiting to join in the debate. We'll hear from them as well. How can this story really move forward? What is it that needs to be done for Pakistan to accept that something really changed post the action which was unleashed by the Indian forces? Look at that on the other side of the break. Welcome back to this Big 5 at 10 Wednesday night special, where we're bringing to you a series of stories which have really exposed the Pakistani lie which has been created by Pakistani authorities last 2 weeks. Here's more proof of the fact that Pakistan has been lying over these last 2 weeks since the Uri incident happened. Why? Because look at the area which has been narrated by the Pakistani intelligence officer Ghulam Akbar. He gives very, very specific details of where exactly this incident happened. Where did we record this? In Bhupendra district of Bandala sector, Samani Tehsil. Who are the people who've been killed? He makes it very, very clear. And we're withholding the full name. Naik, then there's Havaldar, and then there is Lance Naik. We're not giving the full names because of security reasons and sensitivities which are obviously involved. And as we pointed out right at the beginning of the program, the idea is not to compromise the security, even on the other side, of any individual who's associated with the Pakistani forces. These are the other 2 names which were given by Ghulam Akbar, And he also gave us specific details of where exactly these terror launch pads existed. Where were the casualties inflicted on Pakistani forces? In Poonch district, in Bhattal sector, in Hazira Tehsil. These are the people who were killed according to the expose which was done by Manoj Gupta. Then this Pakistani intelligence officer also told us that in Neelam district, in Dhudiyal sector, in Sharda Tehsil, injuries had been inflicted on jihadis and Pakistani forces. He went on to tell us that even in the Hatiabala district, in Lipa sector, there were people from the Pakistani forces, from the jihadis being backed by the Pakistani forces who had been injured. That's the main reason why we've been saying that it's impossible for Pakistan really to continue to live in this state of denial. Let me go across to Michael Kugelman now, who's joining us from Washington, and he keeps a very close eye on everything that takes place in the Asian subcontinent. Michael, what do you make out of this, Michael? There were the Pakistanis who took an entire busload of international journalists to areas which they said had been supposedly attacked by India. Now here we're giving graphic details of these areas which indeed had been attacked by India. Do you really believe that Pakistan is going to change its strategy, or will they continue to unleash the kind of propaganda that they have been unleashing?
Well, I imagine that Pakistan's position will remain consistent, and that's to simply deny that this surgical strike took place. And I would argue that Pakistan actually has a strong incentive to keep denying that this surgical strike happened for two reasons. One, if they admit that it happened, then it would be an embarrassment. If what has been described by the Indians is true, that you had a case of a strike in Pakistan administered Kashmir that took many lives of militants, that lasted several hours. It would be a very audacious raid that would really constitute one of the boldest operations on Pakistani soil since the U.S. Special Forces raided bin Laden's compound. The second reason why Pakistan may not have an incentive to change its position is that if they were to admit that indeed this did happen, they would be under a lot of pressure to respond and retaliate, which may well be something that they would prefer not to do, at least in the immediate term. So I think those two factors could be at play, but I really see no reason to think that the position in Pakistan will be changing anytime
So
soon.
Pakistan is not going to change its position. Salim Samad, you're there in Dhaka, and tell me, the Bangladeshis have also responded very, very strongly after the Uri incident that had taken place. And I saw the Bangladesh High Commissioner in India came out in strong support of the action that had been unleashed by India. What is it that needs to be done according to you, Salim? What is it that can be done by India and Bangladesh together to put pressure on Pakistan to admit the fact that indeed Pakistan has become the global fountainhead of terror?
First of all, we have to understand that the Pakistan intelligence was very, very active in Bangladesh since the previous governments have leased to the ISI. And the ISI in Bangladesh was directly involved in the insurgency in the Northeast India. It is Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, when she came to power in 2009, since then the insurgency, especially their hideouts in Bangladesh, and the leaders living in Dhaka were deported and they were sent back to India. So the issue is that we also have a serious problem with Pakistan. We had a problem in 1971 when 3 million people were slaughtered, and it was India who had to help Bangladesh to liberate. Right. And let me tell you one thing, Bangladesh war in 1971, since the Second World War, is the only decisive war where the forces have surrendered. Since 1971, there is not a single country where a war has occurred and there is a decisive war, especially in this issue of surrender. Right. So we already have a problem with Pakistan. So obviously Bangladesh government will definitely would not be happy what is happening in India-Pakistan border.
Can I just come back to the specifics of this case itself, and therefore let me go to Rajinder Kumar, former Special Director of Intelligence Bureau, and someone who has a very deep understanding of the area that we're talking about. Rajinder ji, look at the specifics which have been narrated to us by this Pakistani intelligence officer. There is Brigadier Hussein, who still is maintaining that all this is an outright lie. What is it that you would like to tell Brigadier Hussein, so that he may be forced to maybe change his position, Rajinder ji?
Let me congratulate Manoj Gupta for carrying out Indian media history the best thing ever conducted by any news channel. This was one of the finest things conducted by the media channel.
Thank you, sir.
And it has been done in the national security interest. It has been done for the truth.
Thank you, sir.
So it is one of the finest things which has ever been conducted. Now to Brigadier Hussein. I would say, Brigadier Hussein Saab, you are a special forces officer, you are ISI officer. How you can accept that it is true? It is a Manoj Gupta has given the given the test to ISI of their own medicine. A test of their own medicine to the Pakistan. If SP Ghulam Akbar, who is SP in Jammu in Pak Kashmir, if he is saying these things, he is disclosing it under the impression that he is talking to IG. This means he is telling the truth, and he has told the truth. But Mr. Chaubey, you must see that how Pakistani army even don't trust its police. The area, they keep the area of 3 kilometers cordoned off. Even the police is not allowed. The special, even the intelligence, civilian intelligence, police intelligence agencies are not allowed on the border.
Brigadier Hussein,
but see, it is the police duty.
Are you once more, final opportunity I am giving to you. Final opportunity I am giving to you, Brigadier Hussein. Are you willing to accept that you have been defeated? At least as far as these 2 weeks are concerned, yes, Pakistan may well have unleashed this theory of inflicting 1,000 cuts on India repeatedly over these last 2 decades, but this time around, India has changed the game. Are you willing to accept it or not?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
So you will...
Because you are discussing, all of you are discussing just about everything under the sun, except the military dimension.
Brigadier, your own newspapers are saying this thing.
You don't want to
Brigadier,
discuss
your own newspapers
the
are
military
saying
dimension.
this thing. Please read down article by...
You will not understand. Unless you...
Please read the article.
You see, यही तो चीज है.
You must
Why don't you
understand.
let me
He
speak?
says that
दुनिया झूठ बोलती है, सिर्फ पाकिस्तान सच बोलता है, ब्रिगेडियर
So keen to
साहब.
shoot me down.
अरे हम सब झूठ बोलते हैं, सिर्फ आप ही सच बोलते हैं. पूरा खुदा you are the paragon of virtues. You are the paragon of virtues. We are liars.
Pakistan has been helping.
Final comment. Don't you also think that the propaganda war which had been unleashed by the likes of Brigadier Hussein by taking this bustard of international journalists to these areas where they said that Indian forces had unleashed these strikes, hasn't that lie also been exposed after what Ghulam Akbar has told us today?
Absolutely, and they
Which means that look at the connivance and scheming approach of Pakistani establishment, Dr.
No, it's a desperation. How can they admit that India can carry out this? They never thought that nobody thought that India has got this capability. Now they don't know what else we have got, so they have to live in denial.
You are Brigadier
None
Hussein.
of you.
Yes, none of
you is capable of understanding.
Our forces have shown you what we are
This is a
capable of.
military problem.
I think our forces have
just
shown
beating about the bush.
I think our forces
You're
have
beating about
shown
the
you.
bush.
Our forces have shown you,
If you
Brigadier
just-
Hussein,
if
what
you
we're
just
capable
listen
of.
to me,
And I will
let
no,
me
sir, because
explain.
you see, my problem with Pakistani panelists is that all of you come with this preconceived notion where you say that everything that is being asked out of you is a lie. Now there is no midway which can be approached. And therefore
I
I'm
can
forced.
say the same for you.
That's the whole problem,
I can
sir.
say the same for you.
Therefore, I believe that military
You see,
option is the
you are
only way to
looking
deal
for-
with you. And I think, therefore,
crutches,
what has happened in
looking
these
for
last 2 weeks
support.
is much better.
You've
much
got
better.
hold of-
You need to be dealt with in the language which has been spoken by our forces, and I believe that that is the only way that you and people like you, Brigadier Hussein, are willing to change your position. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining me on this special edition of Big 5 at 10.
Rubbish.
Let me take a break.
Absolute rubbish.
You can
It is
say,
the best thing ever
Absolute
conducted
rubbish.
you
by any
can
media
use
channel.
these words, rabbe, jhoota. Arey, what else can Pakistan do once it keeps being repeatedly on a daily basis being exposed like this? Let me take a break. You've got a clear-cut idea of what people have been saying. On the other side of the break, my take, and we'll get you some global reactions as well. Lots of compliments coming to CNN News 18's way on the basis of this investigation which has been done by Manoj Gupta. We'll play all those reactions for you on the other side of this break. Yes, indeed. So far, CNN News 18 and a whole bunch of Indian politicians were saying that those surgical strikes had happened. Now, guess what? After this expose done by our investigations editor Manoj Gupta, Pakistani channels themselves are now corroborating what is being put out by CNN News 18. Our expose has been picked up by ARY News in Pakistan. ARY News has actually contacted that Inspector General in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, who's Mirpur SP's reporting boss. Now, IG Mirpur is not denying the fact that CNN News 18's conversation with his deputy, his junior officer in Mirpur in the same area actually took place. In fact, IG Mirpur is saying that the SP perhaps got scared and he ended up spilling the beans. That categorical assertion being made by ARY television channel, which is one of the leading Pakistani channels. Subramaniam Swamy is still here with us, and I don't know if our Pakistani guest, Brigadier there is there or not. Let's just play out that ARY News clip for you, where this thing is now being officially corroborated by Pakistani journalists as well, that indeed this SP in Mirpur exists, and this SP in Mirpur had indeed spoken to Manoj Gupta.
एक फोन आया था जिसने अपने आप को आइडेंटिफाई करवाया एसपी गुलाम अकबर साहब को कि मैं आईजी पंजाब मुश्ताक सुखैरा बोल रहा हूँ। तो उसने उसको यही कहा कि जी ये उसके जहन में यही आया जो एसपी साहब ने मुझे बताया कि इंस्पेक्टर जनरल ऑफ पुलिस पंजाब मुझसे डायरेक्टली क्यों बात करेगा और किसी भी मुताबिक क्यों बात करेगा। तो उसने उसको कहा कि मैं आपको लैंडलाइन से कॉल बैक करता हूँ या आप लैंडलाइन से मुझसे बात करें। जैसे कि स्क्रीन पे किसी का कोई नंबर नहीं आ रहा था।
So bottom line is this, that it takes the courage of an Indian journalist to get the better of Pakistani forces. So salute to Manoj Gupta, and I must point out that he is also the individual who would actually expose the lie that Dawood Ibrahim was not on Pakistani soil. Subramaniam Swamy, over these last 3 months, CNN News 18 has exposed two of the biggest lies which have been perpetrated by Pakistan. They said Dawood Ibrahim doesn't exist. We proved Dawood Ibrahim's residence is there in Karachi. Now they say nothing has happened. Again, we're proving. And lo and behold, this time it's also being accepted by the Pakistani authorities. I ask you again in conclusion, sir, do you not think it will be much better to expose Pakistan officially, diplomatically, for India to release this video footage, which we seem to have?
Well, you see, the video footage shows some of the strategic aspects of our surgical operations. And if we are going to carry more of these, which we have to, then that gives them an advantage. That is why Pakistan is pushed hard for it. If the military is able to edit that to at least with a scissor knock off those parts which would be harmful for them in their strategic planning, and just the explosion part and the area part.
Rajinder ji, you're not in agreement? आपको नहीं लगता कि ऐसा करना चाहिए?
No, I am in agreement with Dr. Swamy that it should not be given, but my reasons are slightly different. My reason is that, in whatever way this video footage has been collected, it will expose the equipment which we use. It will be the area from where we have gone, the area where we have operated. Today you put any footage and the video.
But
Google
what do we do? Pakistan remains in denial, Rajinder ji.
Coordinates and whatever is there.
Rajinder ji, problem is Pakistan continues to deny, and now even ARY Gold, ARY Gold, Pakistan's own television channel, is now admitting that this has happened.
See, ARY channel is admitting, even everything is there, and even their own news channels or news media is saying that the strike has taken place. So let them remain in denial, because they will continue to be in denial.
Michael,
we have given the proof of
if the
Mumbai,
Pakistani media,
they have got the proof from other countries.
Michael Kuverman, if the Pakistani media itself is now admitting that yes, this has happened, does this not force Pakistan's hands further, according to you?
Well, no, not necessarily. I would need to have a lot more context about this investigation that you've been doing here. But this is just one TV station. And I go back to what I said before. Pakistan seems to have very compelling incentive not to change its position, which is to deny what happened, really to avoid embarrassment and to avoid being in a position where it would be under tremendous pressure to retaliate. And so the fact that ARY is, according to yourself, now starting to take a different position, I don't think that suggests that we're going to see all kinds of people changing their minds on Pakistan.
Okay,
This
so
needs to
bottom
play
line
out
is
here.
this, that we can do what we want to do. Pakistan is not going to change its position.
That's correct.
That's, I think, the best way to sum up what's happened.
Yeah.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us all through this evening on this big investigation which has been done by CNN News 18. You've heard from politicians, you've heard from diplomats, you've heard from Pakistani generals themselves. What's my take? What's CNN News 18's take? We believe enough is enough. And you must think about it, because enough is really enough. I think our patience threshold has been crossed. Pakistan has run out of options to keep indulging in propaganda warfare, while non-state actors are indeed more powerful in Pakistan than the elected government. I think it's time, for the sake of its own self, for the sake of its own country, that the elected government in Pakistan and these non-state actors come out on one platform to work out truce amongst themselves first. Unless these two differing forces come on one platform, I don't think there is any way that there can be any forward movement between India and Pakistan. Thanks so much for watching. This big story plays out all over the next 24 hours.